And we're back! Hello, welcome back to the Guiding Light Healing Studio. If this is your first time, my name is Kate West. And if this is not your first time, we be besties now, because I know that if you have found your way to my channel, that you are into all of the same things that I'm into, which is personal development, spirituality, travel, boho lifestyle. We're going to be covering a wide range of topics on this channel. And since we're going to be, getting real deep with each other, exploring our inner landscapes, I wanted to hop on here and do a totally unscripted, just transparency video about, my journey, my personal healing journey, and how it is that I became a spiritual teacher and intuitive healer. It's not the most typical path, and if I'm going to be sharing teachings with you, offering you guidance towards your own path of expanding and becoming your grace, becoming your best version, then I just want you to know a little bit more about me. I want you to just totally see if what I have to say is a good fit for your life, because a really big part of this journey as we step into our power is having discernment. Anytime we're listening to a mentor or a teacher of any capacity, we don't want to take anybody else's word as just the gospel. One of the big things that I've learned a lot along this journey is that two truths can exist at the same time. Maybe the only actual universal truth out there is that there is no universal truth. So the things that I share, right, it's just stuff that's coming through for me. It's realizations that I've had as I have been a student to life and a student to spirituality and personal development for literally 20 years of my life. I'm 34, so I really started practicing when I was 13. Oh my God, so 21 years now. I've been on this journey. I've learned a lot, especially over the last couple of years, and now I have the absolute honor to hold space for other people, my clients. This is the work that I do professionally as well, is to help people grow and evolve and apply spiritual principles to their own life so that we can navigate obstacles with grace, reach our highest potential, and really just suck the juice out of this experience. I think, to me, what would be such a fulfilling and successful life is to be able to look back and feel like I really accomplished a lot. I think my only real true fear in life is being on my deathbed and looking back and feeling like I could have experienced more, I could have been more. So that is one of my core values. And so if you vibe with that, then we besties, we gonna get into it. And since we're covering my whole journey, I'm on a real journey with the hair right now. It's a work in progress, so we're just gonna put her up before we get into all this. I'm also gonna scoot in because we're using the microphone on the phone still, so we're just gonna get a little closer. So it all started when I was a young girl. Just kidding, we're not gonna go that far back. But I did mention how I've been a student to life since I was 13, and that is because I grew up in a very chaotic, non-traditional household. I lived with lots of people. I didn't have my own space. There was a lot of conflict in the house. We were dealing with a lot of poverty and drug use, and you get the picture. We won't go into too much detail. The only one thing I'll say about my childhood that's kind of interesting, my parents actually got married on the phone through the glass in the 90s, I guess in the 80s, while my mom was pregnant with me and my dad was in jail. So it was St. Patrick's Day, my mom had a green dress on, she had the minister on her side, and they literally I don't think you could even do that these days. If you want to hear more about my upbringing, and my parents have some wild stories, just drop them in the comments and I'll make a totally separate video about that. So because of all the adversity that I was exposed to and not having my own separate space, I was very blessed to have been introduced to meditation when I was 13. And I would just go to the bathroom because that was the only time I had private space, and I would just open my chakras. And this was a way that I was able to just find some stillness and peace. Actually, as I'm telling the story, I'm literally being taken back to a moment. I think it was in the morning, and I'm sitting on the bathroom floor mat, and I just felt quiet. I just felt really still. And even at 13, just for whatever reason, I just knew that keeping that practice with me was going to be very important. So throughout the years, I remember I would just tell people that my greatest passion in life was becoming the best version of myself. And I had no reason for that to be the case. Again, no one else in my family was into personal development at all. But in retrospect, I know this was coming from, my spirit team and higher selves. So while I'm, diving into myself, going through my own process of like self-discovery and expanding my awareness, there's a very consistent theme. So something that I always teach people is to understand what one of your gifts are and even potentially your life purpose. It's really helpful to look at patterns in your life. So a consistent pattern that I had over the course of my life is that strangers and close friends, but also strangers, would just tell me their deepest, darkest secrets. I was always a good listener. I always made people feel safe and could hold like strong, safe space for people. But the biggest thing that in retrospect I could tell I was always doing was channeling. And when I was younger, people would come to me with their problems, like their relationship problems with their parents, whatever. And I would just start talking. And as I was talking and giving them advice, all this like profound wisdom that was like well beyond my age, like 15 years old, I would be saying these incredibly wise things to people. And I remember at the time I would be like, I don't know where that comes from. It just comes out of my mouth. But in retrospect, like I was always channeling. So, I go to college and I thought I wanted to be a doctor. So happy that didn't work out, but that was sort of like the first inkling into me becoming a healer. So that was also the same summer that I started going to a ton of music festivals. And I had met a community of people at this one particular gathering where I went kind of on a whim with some people that I didn't know that well. And I very quickly realized, oh, these are not my people. I need to make friends. So there was this distinct moment where I was in the crowd and I was listening to one of my favorite artists. And I'm literally just talking to everyone around me, like, oh my God, these people I'm with are driving me crazy. I gotta like find friends. And I looked to my right and there's this girl about my size. I'm a shawty, if you can't tell, just getting down. And I was like, I could just feel her energy and I just beelined it over to her. And I was like, hey, started dancing with her. Turns out she was part of this like underground community, I guess you could call them. They like did event production and they were a record label. And so she invited me back to their camp and they had like a whole installation, like living room DJ setup. Anyways, it was amazing. I met this whole group of artists who were just not doing it the conventional way. And they were just making a living for themselves, pursuing their passions. They were like totally just doing it their own way. And that was so inspiring to me because right around the same time, I started thinking about the idea of getting into holistic nutrition. But I was like, oh, I'll get like a double master's. I'll get a master's in something more, acceptable that I could get a job from. And then holistic nutrition will just kind of be this like back burner thing. Well, after I connected with this community, I was like, why would I do something that isn't actually my passion, So from that moment, I just decided, I was like, no, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to pursue holistic nutrition. Food as medicine is the primary philosophy of holistic nutrition, and that was always like very, very dear to me. I believe that our planet is so intelligent and beautiful, and that our planet provides for us. Our planet has everything that we need to live comfortably. Like not only all of our medicine, all of our food, all of our clothing, everything, our housing, everything comes from our beautiful planet. And I've always deeply resonated with and respected our planet. And so holistic nutrition just made sense for me. So I, fast forward a couple of years later, I moved to Portland where I am now, and I went to the University of Natural Medicine and got a master's in holistic nutrition. Now keep in mind, I still have my spiritual thing going, right? But this is very like private, where I'm like meditating every morning, like, just, it was always very important to me. I started learning about the law of attraction, right? It's like The Secret got popular. And, but I always felt like I needed to keep professional Kate and spiritual Kate as two very separate entities. So I graduate with my degree. And when I started working with patients rather, I was working with a naturopathic doctor. She was referring her patients to me, and I was creating these therapeutic meal plans that were supportive for her treatment plans for whatever condition they had. And when I started working with people, very quickly, I was able to see that, okay, they have a bad relationship with food. And so that's creating a lot of physical ailment in their life. And as I unpacked their relationship with food, I started seeing like, oh, it's a lot deeper. It's actually a bad relationship with themselves, which snowballs into bad lifestyle choices and that can eventually lead to disease. So I stopped focusing so much solely on the food, and I became more of like a holistic wellness coach. I started, expanding and helping people understand, the way that we show up and navigate in our life, like the choices that we make, are all a reflection of what we believe about ourselves and how we feel about ourselves, and the degree to which we feel valuable to ourselves, we feel worthy of love within ourselves. So as I'm getting deeper and deeper into this, right, learning, I just dove headfirst into the personal development world and really started honing myself as a coach. Because the whole premise of coaching, coaching is so incredible. It is such a valuable tool for our ability to overcome our own self-imposed limitations. One thing that becoming a coach has taught me is that everything is you can trace everything in your life back to what you say to yourself. But when you're not paying attention to your own thoughts, and even when you don't have the tools to change these stories, then usually people just give up. People just kind of fall in line, so to speak, of the kind of cookie cutter lifestyle that's been laid out before us, right? Which is go to school, get a degree, get a good paying job in some corporate environment, and then enjoy your life on the weekends. But that's never been enough for me. I did have a corporate job for like 30 seconds, or like 11 months, right out of college. I remember, so I graduated college, right? And I was working at a restaurant during college, and I'm boxing up someone's food one night, and I think to myself, like, hold up, girl, you have a college degree. What are you doing working in a restaurant? Which, funny enough, I ended up still staying at the restaurant because I made no money in my corporate job, and I got into healthcare recruiting. It was so miserable. That was the moment that I was like, I will never do this again. You are never gonna believe this. I just completed the rest of that story. I was probably talking for like 15 or 20 minutes, and my phone just stopped recording. So now we gotta figure out where we left off. Okay, tangent. Anyways, so as I'm working with people and I'm really starting to see what the true work is, which is to guide people through a self-love journey. So as I'm getting deeper into this, I really pivoted and started becoming more of a spiritual life coach, which is the work that I get to do now in my private practice. And there's truly nothing more fulfilling than seeing people unburden themselves after lifetimes of suffering. I feel incredibly blessed to get to do the work that I do of watching people transform and live these more expansive, empowered, and lighter lives. The people that I support as well, which I'm sure many of you, if you've found me, are these as well, are the people that came to lead the change on our planet. The light workers, the healers, the star seeds, who have a mission to be in something of greater than themselves. And the reason why I often serve these people is because I am one of those people as well, which leads me to my awakening story. I'm talking so much, we gotta refill in the water though, hold up. So yes, I had been, a student to life, metaphysics and spirituality at a young age, but there was actually like a key defining moment in which I feel like I truly, really woke up. So as I said, in my 20s, I went through this many years where I was really involved in the music festival community. And in 2017, I believe it was, I was at this festival in Northern California called Lightning in a Bottle. And I went to a 432 hertz sound healing journey. It was 2 hours long, dead sober. And I sit down and meditate. And I'm like, okay, what do I want this experience to be about? And immediately I see this like two-dimensional scene of me sitting on a beach with like a little island and a palm tree. I can still see it very clearly. And then all of a sudden the sky opens up and I can see the cosmos. And this like beam of light comes down and scoops me up, and now I'm being taken out into space. And I start hearing this whole dialogue, like I'm having a conversation with what I can now see was my Pleiadian higher self that I met a few years later. And I'm getting this incredible download about our sun, its relationship to Earth, how the sun is sending light codes to Earth and helping raise the collective frequency of the planets, and learning about how Earth is actually very important and a significant planet in our solar system because of our proximity to the sun. And as we raise in our frequency, it upgrades the entire our galaxy and the universe around us. Now, if you know anything about the ascension, Earth's ascension from the 3D to the 5D, there's lots of information about this, I won't go into it. But if you know anything about this, we know a lot now about the sun's role. But at the time, nobody was talking about this. I remember telling it to a few people afterwards, and I probably just sounded like super delulu. So anyways, fascinating stuff, right? So after I get this whole solar download, I see this little tiny planet, like way out in space. And my light ship descends down onto this planet. And the next thing I see is I'm walking down this stone corridor, and there's gold hieroglyphic script on the wall, and I'm running my hand over it, and as I run my hand over it, it's like shimmering. And then I turn a corner, and this room opens up, and there's like this half circle stone table. I look down, I'm wearing all white robes. And other beings start filing into the room wearing the same white robes. And I can't specifically make them out, but I can tell that they're all different races. And the next thing I hear is, you are part of a council of lights that's overseeing the raising of your universe's frequency back to source, back to the love frequency. And a little while later, I came out of that meditation and everything just clicked into place. Like, no wonder I've always been into consciousness expansion. No wonder I've always cared about being my best self and helping people become their best selves. Like, it just made so much sense why I always wanted to pursue an alternative path. And at the time, I wanted to open this multidisciplinary health and wellness center to band together other healers, because obviously we're stronger in numbers, right? We send out this huge frequency together, and it just all clicked into place. And ever since I had that experience, I have just had this overwhelming sense of duty and purpose. And I truly feel like my reasons for being here and helping other people become their best selves is so much greater than me. I truly feel like I'm here with a divine assignment, as many of you are as well. And you know, I'm gonna make a separate video on this, but I received this really beautiful download the other day about what it is that we're actually doing here as we heal and evolve. You know, we are these multidimensional souls of, you know, infinite consciousness, and we chose to come down to Earth and put infinite consciousness right dead smack in the middle of ego consciousness, which is incredibly dense, and caught in the illusion of separation. So the way that they showed it to me was, you know, as you heal, as you become more of your soul, as you embody more of your light, you can think of it like a balloon that's in this like kind of rigid structure, almost like a cage. And as you grow and evolve and you expand your awareness, the balloon expands. But this also pushes ego, right? It pushes ego to its limits. It causes friction, it causes tension, it bruises ego. But eventually, ego has no other option but to allow these layers of density and illusions of separation from the one true source to just fall away. So that is a cliff notes of you know, the work that I do, how I got into this work. And so what's next? What's next for this channel? What's next for my work? I get so many downloads and visions about the big picture. Sometimes it's kind of overwhelming, right? Because when our higher selves will show us what's for us in the future, it can be like, how do I get there from here? So right now you're seeing me very much my humble beginnings. You know, I'm just like recording in my little apartment on my phone without a microphone or anything. But the next steps for me, you know, I'm doing all my work on a one-on-one basis right now. It will eventually expand to group very soon, I think. But then beyond that, I see myself traveling the world and hosting these beautiful healing activation experiences and retreats in like beautiful tropical places like, you know, Tulum, Costa Rica, Hawaii, Bali. And you know that your girl's gonna be filming content and putting it on our YouTube channel as well. So, you know, we're gonna be talking about all things related to your healing and expansion, raising your frequency, boho lifestyle. It's gonna be travel, it's gonna be non-toxic living, organic food, probably gonna be doing recipes on here. I'm very excited. I have so many plans for this channel, and I would love nothing more than for you to join along with us. I want you to know that, you know, Guiding Light is your community too. Really, I want this to be a safe space where you can meet your people, where you can feel seen, where this can be a really valuable resource for you in your own growth and healing and evolution. So thank you for being here. Thank you for hearing my story. And I'd love to hear in the comments what you found the most interesting, or if you have had a similar experience, definitely let's connect in the comments. So I will see you in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.